We strive for greatness. We are fueled by passion. We are a team forged by diversity. We share a bond unspoken. We are stronger together. We are united by equestrian.
Tradition of the wonderful stud here that goes back with a long history, and we're set for session 2 and starting our afternoon run of competition. 2 sessions coming up to complete the day will take us up to just around 5:45 into the afternoon as well. We're going to see a number of the individual riders coming up too. Having seen the teams this morning, sunny conditions now, 26 degrees, and again the leaves just on the plants there are breezing a little with a kilometre more than this morning, 12 kilometres an hour, but still nothing that is going to trouble anyone too much for the afternoon. It is perfect conditions. Here's how it plays out for the week. 2 days of dressage and our afternoon session to come. We get back underway tomorrow morning at 10. Cross country on Saturday, and that gets underway planned at the moment for midday. And the final show jumping stages will bring together the medals for this year's FEI Eventing European Championships for 2023. That's what's coming up for you over the next few days. These are the teams competing, and with the first riders gone for many of those teams now, not yet for Austria, but for the other teams already they've got their first score under their belts, and Ireland will be recommencing our afternoon session. And for the teams, Ireland with Sarah Ennis already completing her test this morning on 38.8. And then into the afternoon, say we'll see the individual rider coming up in just a moment with Ian Castles of Ireland, then back into some of the team riders late into the afternoon. Belgium with their first team rider gone as well on 33.6. We saw the scores tumbling through the day, and then getting down to the final score which came in, which we'll talk to you about in just a few moments. But the experienced Karen Donkers yet to come in tomorrow's competition as well. Marlin Hansen-Hottop of Germany starting off the German squad on a score of 31.5. Still World Championship riders to come though, with Christoph Wahler, Sandra Alfarth and of course Mikkel Jung. Starting off for the Netherlands was also their team manager Andy Heffernan and Gideon. Lovely combination going into second place so far on a score of 29. And they will now be moving over to change hats and be in charge of the team. For Italy, Giovanni Ugolotti in third place on 30.6 on Swirly Temptress. And later on, we're going to see into the afternoon those team riders coming up for Italy. And then further down to Switzerland with Robin Godel. He already got his score under his belt at 33 for the first of the Swiss squad, and tomorrow seeing their experienced rider taking us right the way through to Felix Vogt multi-championships for him. Sweden looking to get to the stage of another medal at the European Championships. They have been for the last couple of runnings too, with Frida Andersen and Box Leo, getting him underway on a score of 33.3. And then on to the home nation, to France, Stéphane Landrois. And for the first, the French riders saw them at 31.8. Still to come, though, the twice European champion in Nicolas Touzon and Absolute Gold HDC. Then to the British combinations, and Kitty King, 27.2 as we completed the morning session, with Kitty still the world champion to come, with Yasmin Ingham, and then of course with Laura Collett, Team Olympic gold medalist from Tokyo, and another former world champion in Ros Canter. And Austria, we haven't seen them yet because 3 riders for the team, Daniel, Katrin and Leah, still to start off the Austrian challenge with their scores all to count for the squad as well. But as you can see from those shots, beautiful conditions here in Haras du Pin, and as I say, this is part of the new development of the facility. That's the confirmation of the scoring so far. Andy Heffernan, as I mentioned, for Netherlands going into second. Got 2 scores under 30, 29 and 27.2, but a long way to build those scores for the teams yet. And when you see those 4 rider graphics there as well, that indicates that they're part of the team. You'll see some of the single ones this afternoon, as well as we have individual riders going, and that's going to start us off. There you see from the graphic, first 4 are going to be individual riders. We've got Ian Castles of Ireland. Then we're on to Belgium. We're on to France with Benjamin Massie and Edition Fonroy, and then down to our next for Felicity Ward to get us back into the team competition for Ireland. So Ireland, Belgium, France, the Netherlands still with their individual riders to come. Jordi Wilken and Wilbert Bo for the Netherlands to go individually. Then we're into the cycle of the team riders once again to take us through the afternoon. As say, close to 6 o'clock this evening, we'll be completing this first day of dressage as well. So that's what it looks for Group 2 coming up. And alongside me is Lucinda Green. Lucinda, very good afternoon to you. And, well, we've had a little breather. The judges are refreshed and ready. They were in fine form this morning. They're back into position. And just to remind you, judges are at C, Judy Hancock of Great Britain. At M is Seppo Lane of Finland. And at E is Katrin Aikiga-Knili for the judge at E. Those are our 3 judges. We will give our best attempt at our thoughts on it. And Lucinda, you've been in this position plenty of times before as a past twice European champion. It's their score that counts, but we're going to give it our best shot through the afternoon. Looking forward to this. It was a really interesting morning session.
I think we were really appreciating the level of dressage because we had a pretty consistent batch, and it got gently a little bit better as it went along, and it wasn't that marks got better, the actual performances did. Never easy to be first in there. It's never easy to, even though, as you rightly said this morning, there's a guinea pig, in other words, a rider that isn't taking part in the competition who comes in and does the test half an hour before the real thing starts, to give the judges a little bit of a sort of level. But it is difficult. You really do take time to level out exactly what you think and exactly what you're seeing. And at the moment, I think the general feeling from out there is that they're marking quite hard, but they're marking fairly and the same.
And consistently.
Consistently. And what we hope, and it's always difficult because it is human nature, that they remain with that, if you like it, tougher marks all the way through. And if they remain consistent, it doesn't matter how tough they are. It just is difficult, human nature being what it is, and it is getting hotter.
It is getting hotter. It's a lovely afternoon. As you can see, the crowd's just starting to find their seats again, just under the shade of the trees. And there you can see some of the new facilities here. 24 million euros has been produced and put together to produce a top-class facility here, alongside, of course, the traditional facilities here at Haras du Pin, which has got that wonderful long history, goes long way back. And in fact, it goes all the way back to its first thoughts in 1665, but actually was created in 1750. And it took 2 cycles of kings to get the job done, but they did, and they did it in a fine way. Louis XV, of course, overseeing the creation of one of the royal studs here, one of 22 regional royal studs as well. And so we'll go into that a little bit later on, because we are going to concentrate now on dressage and our first after the break, which is Ian Castles and Wood End Farm Jack OD. By Jack of Diamonds, actually an Irish bred ride for Noala Prendergast, the owner, and then the breeding going back to Wood End Ard Hill for Ian, as I say, competing here individually. First Europeans for this rider as well. He's competed in Nations Cup before now, including in July of this year in Jardy here in France. Finished well in Mill Street in the Nations Cup there, in the 4-star there. Actually had a good dressage test of 32.1, so very much in the reckoning of what we've seen so far. And then in Ireland last season, finishing well too. So some good opportunities and some individuals here getting some good shots for maybe some team places in the future as well. And it's going to be a really interesting afternoon. So we've got 4 of those coming up individually first, then we're back into our team riders. But Ian Castles to start us off with Wood End Farm Jack OD for the Irish contingent that are here. Of course, several of the teams with 4 riders for the team and 2 individuals. But perfect conditions. And so you can just see from a little bit of breeze on the plants, there's just enough air movement too. It is absolutely spot on, and there goes the bell. We're underway and into our afternoon. So this first session will take us through to just short of 4 o'clock, and then our final session into the team riders once again, including World Championship winner Yasmin Ingham coming up in that. But Ian going to be our first, and well, it couldn't be a better afternoon for it, Lucinda.
It's always a little bit better when it's hotter because you feel the horses are a little bit calmer, but equally you're in your tailcoat and it's jolly hot in there.
They're a little more sporty than they were in the past, not quite the thick wool. Anyway, we won't go too far down that road. The 29-year-old for Ireland.
Relatively young horse at 10 years old, and a very unusual model because he is looking to me to be pretty well thoroughly Irish bred on both sides.
Yes.
Which used to be the way lots of horses were, but in the last 20 years or so it's gone a little bit more European, and there was a sort of interim period of Australia and New Zealand, and now it's gone more European. So there's your shoulder in, again a nice forward one, and a lovely soft bend round that half circle into half pass. Lovely start. Whoever wrote the test has done a lovely build up.
It's getting an 8.5 in those early scores. Here we go with the halt. Ooh. Back. Up.
Just a little
bit more. Need 5 of those.
Question, yes, exactly. Do you want me to do any more? Yes, please. 5 is the figure. Just showing that little bit of angle for shoulder in. Most horses are usually a little bit stiffer on one side than on the other, and your job is to try and help them supple up on both sides and not to show the judge which one is your stiffer side. And it's not just the horses either, we have sides.
I was going to say, I mean, we have right and left-handed we refer to, but you know, as humans we're more dexterous on generally one side or the other. On the scores of 7 so far.
So here's our walk, and this will increase from this marker into extended walk, where they'll let the head out and stretch the whole body, and hopefully the legs will cover a bit more ground and you get a good mark for it. Looks a very nice one to me. This is a great angle to see this on. When it comes directly towards us, it's not quite so easy. And now the gathering up, the collected walk, and this has a mark along with the strike off and the canter. It's all in one mark. 19 movements, each marked out of 10. Beautiful strike off, lovely still hands from the rider. There's the change. Not quick enough to see if that was true or not. The marks will tell us. Not quite by the look of that.
This takes them down to a 4 for the flying changes as well.
And at only 10, you wouldn't expect this horse yet to be really confirmed in his way of going. He didn't really show us power in that extended canter because it probably isn't quite there for the calling yet on the dressage. A little bit of a twitch going through that change, and again something that some horses take a long time before they feel comfortable with, the direct change from one leg to another without a walk or trot in between. Now let's see if there's power in the extended trot, or he hasn't quite got there yet. Yes, not quite there yet. It showed a difference and is coming back beautifully. Super entry and a lovely halt. Well done.
Final hold there for Ian Castles of Ireland. So the first European Championship appearance for the pairing after some really good home results for them.
Sounds funny to say a 10-year-old is still a young horse, but he is in this game. There's a lot of learning in all three phases for the horse and the rider, and our scratchy nose to get on with.
There's no rush.
There is no rush, and some horses come to themselves much quicker than others. Some horses can be flying at 8, others take 2 or 3 years longer.
Total of 37.5 there in terms of penalty score, a percentage score of 62.54, judge at E 61.19, judge at C 62.62, and judge at M 63.81 for Ian Castles and Wood End Farm Jack. As I say, to put that in perspective, that is an individual combination. So we'll see the next team rider later on into the afternoon. Lucinda, as you say, 10-year-old coming through. Overall highlights out of that test?
I think he had some lovely basic paces there, but when he went to show a bit more power in extensions, it wasn't quite there yet. But it is amazing how horses develop, and particularly I'd like to say, because it's what I've been told all my life, and it is true, I think, Irish horses that are bred through Irish lines take longer to mature than almost anything else. However, hopefully they're tough, and you've then got them for a great deal longer for their career. Well,
good start for them. Let's have a look at a few of the highlights of the test, hopefully.
You see the lovely quiet hands of Ian. Because he's wearing the white gloves, you can really see clearly. There's so much going on down those fingers, down those elbows, the little nudges on the mouth, little pressures. It's the conversation that you hold down the reins. I'm very confused because I hadn't realised we'd gone slow-mo.
It was a nice steady walk.
It was a very nice steady walk, exactly. And this is hard for us to see, but it looks a very nice half pass. He's bending well through his neck and his body. But it's not one we can judge ourselves. The judges are in a better position to judge that than we are here, but that's okay. The masses of other things we see beautifully.
Yeah, we see stands filling up. They were busy this morning. They'll be busy again this afternoon. Quite a few people out walking the course now as well. And so after a very interesting first session for the teams, that's the first of our individuals gone at 37.5 for Ian. We go down under the bridge to a number of new surfaces that have been created. So it's a terrific facility here in Haras du Pin, of course, the site of the World Championships in 2014. Let's go to another individual combination now for Belgium. And Senne Vervaecke, this is Google van Alsinga. And this is going to be our next, the mare by Watch Me. Dutch bred, in fact, the chestnut we see this afternoon with the 26-year-old rider. Father, in fact, represented Belgium in the 98 World Championships and multiple European Championships as well. And, for him, having competed at the World Championships last year, first European Championships for Senne as well, and completed in Jordi earlier on the season in preparation. And last year competing here, went very well actually, cross country and jumping, staying with a clean sheet in terms of jumping for those, and today on the 12-year-old Google, which is appropriate for a rider who actually studied IT in Brussels. Freely making full use of the arena. Fairly relaxed to get underway. There goes the bell.
Senne is ridden in half a dozen junior young riders teams, so the pressure of being in a team and at a European Championships shouldn't unduly affect her. She's been through the mill of being a debutante. Lovely halt. So Google hopefully settles to his job. Doing a very nice job on the shoulder in. And again, those lovely hind legs working, giving him plenty of self-carriage. And into half pass. This is the one that a little bit surprises the horses. It comes quite soon in the test. The entry to the test is wonderful. The halt rein back is quite early, but that's what it is, and that's what we have to ask our horses to do.
That's 7 for the halt rein back, 7.5 through to 6 again. Judges seeing it from different angles.
Keeping a lovely rhythm and just melting into walk. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get accurate at the marker that you're meant to be doing a movement, but you're trying to melt from one pace to another as he moves from medium walk. Medium walk's already nearly extended. It's a lovely walk, and with this view from this camera we can see there's a little bit more in the extension. Medium walk gets reasonably good marks. Let's see what the extended gets. Looking around, saying, come here, we haven't finished the test yet, we've still got work to do to strike off. Just a trot stride before the strike off, which will take him down a mark. Extended walk was quite appreciated. Let's see the flying change. Well, it looked pretty good to me, but he won't get the bestest marks because his head just popped up a little bit. But it looked true, both legs changed together.
Takes him from a 6 through to a 7 for that.
And he's got a big stride, this horse. It'll be interesting to watch him cross country, but he did let himself forward a little bit in the extended canter. Maybe not quite enough for a really good mark. Not too bad at all, 7.7, 6.5, and a little bit of an extra effort into that flying change, so I don't think that will get too good because it was lovely and flowing and smooth. But again, he's just probably learning his game. He's 12 years old, and some horses never do get to do the flying change happily. When it first came in, I remember the great Mark Todd saying we shouldn't have flying changes in the test because some horses simply can't do them. And I never forget him saying that.
But it's in.
Lovely. It's in, and it stayed.
It stayed, and they coped with it. Exactly.
So what was that extended shot? Because it looked nice.
6.
Yeah. It wasn't extravagant, but it was lovely and level. Well done. Well, he can be very happy with that test, I hope.
Well, Belgian squad there in full support, and we will see what the score comes out at for Senne Vervaecke there of Belgium. I say another one competing individually. First 4 are going to be individual combinations here.
I think he looks very much a type that will nip across the country well.
Yeah.
We've got quite a lot of horses here that are quite heavy, and championship events, there's distance, there's hills, there's big fences. Some of them may find it a little difficult, but this horse looks very much ready for that sort of challenge.
Penalty score of 36, percentage score of 64.05, judge at E 65, judge at C 65 as well, matching up there, judge at M 62.14. Going into 9th place for the Belgian ride then for Senne Vervaecke and Google van Alsing. And so little change at the top, but it does make a few little changes lower down into 9th place. And just moving Ian Castles down into 10th place. 11 combinations gone of the dressage so far on day 1 here in Haras du Pin. Beautiful blue skies up above. Now not a cloud in the sky. Good conditions. Let's take a look back at the slow-mo here.
To the half pass. I've always wondered what a full pass would look like. Apparently a full pass is going directly sideways instead of half sideways. Just tips onto the hand a little bit, just brings his nose a little bit inside the vertical. It's actually a mark on this judges' sheet for pole. Pole is the top of the head between the ears, and it should be the highest point in the neck. And if it goes down, you're going to get a little bit of a negative mark on that.
No doubt who at the back they're supporting, but quite a few coming in for the next for France, competing individually. The Benjamin Massie. First the French team riders a little earlier on. Stéphane Ladoire on 31.8.
So this test takes approximately 4 minutes, which is a little bit longer than the Tokyo one, and the riders have been given 9 minutes each, so there's plenty of time for them to get in and have a good go around the arena, familiarising the horse before the bell goes.
Absolutely, and in comes Benjamin Massie now of France. Edition Fonroy, the French-bred mare by l'Arc de Triomphe. And for next also has the breeding of Quick Star into the lines of this horse as well for the French rider. And for here, 9-year-old this time around, first championship for Benjamin. And then recent call-up for him, one of 2 9-year-olds in the field, actually. And just gone pretty solidly so far. Finished 11th at Buccolo last year, the 4-star long, so again talking a similar format. And 13th in Aachen in the 4-star short just a few weeks ago as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how they get on today. And another of the younger ones getting some experience. But again, Lucinda, it's good to get the horses out doing that because they've got the thoughts of other big championships coming up over the next few years. France is going to be thinking, you know, another 12 months on this pairing. Could be one for Paris, who knows? But then you're very quickly into the next Europeans, World Championships and so forth. So you know, something each year.
There certainly is, and being the host nation for the Olympic Games is pretty huge.
Yes.
And certainly I shall never forget Greenwich and London holding the Olympic Games. It's something very, very special if you happen to be of the nationality that the Olympic Games are being held with. So they'll, as you say, be preparing, thinking that this young horse, 9 years old, Benjamin on his first senior team, will he cope with this? Will the horse cope with this? Is this going to be a possibility for Paris? That's a very lovely shoulder in there, very active. Things have moved so much, even since Pretoni, when I thought the standard at the World Games was very much higher than I'd seen before. That was a wonderfully, exaggerated isn't the right word, it was just a wonderfully expressive shoulder in. It'll be interesting to see if he can obtain the same thing when he gets into the arena, because it's the first movement that they have to execute. Lovely horse. Hind legs come beautifully up under it. There's a sort of softness about the movement that hopefully he can maintain all the way through. Quick bound away. And now let's see this shoulder in. Sure how much angle there is. There's not meant to be very much.
Yeah.
It's certainly a lovely, expressive, athletic trot. Firing away in the half pass. But if you just get the feeling of the rhythm, and if he keeps this rhythm up, I think it's what the judges will like.
Feature in the rein back, 6.5, slowly growing that score, or reducing the score, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yes, exactly. Maybe this is not quite so supple as the other way, but again, I will say that because we've got a different angle on it to the other one, it's not quite so easy to compare. Lovely transition and a good melt. Medium walk to S and then come across to the extended walk. Yeah, looks good. Let down and stretched out a little bit. Took those feet that little bit further forward, horse's feet. And then that gather up, which you do a little bit with your reins, as you can see him shortening his reins, but you also do a lot with your body, where you put it. You put your shoulders a little bit further back, make sure your legs are softly wrapped around your horse, and then he doesn't get a shock when you ask him for canter, and that looked beautifully done.
Getting a couple of 7s, 6.5.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, 7s for the collected canter.
And the canter, it does say on the notes beside the judging, the change must be uphill. Well, it certainly was uphill, but I'm not sure that it won't be a tiny bit too jerky for them to make a super mark of the flying change, 5.54. Yes, probably a little bit late in that case, and I missed it. Lovely canter there, lovely buoyant rhythm. I'd like to go down to a fence on this horse. Just, I think even I could see that he was a fraction late with the white hind leg.
Yeah.
Then when they give him 2 7s, I shall know I was wrong again.
Flying judges seeing the 4s again.
He's so nearly there. Give him time. And that's going to be lovely. It's already lovely. Lovely suspension, lovely hind leg movement, carrying himself well and decelerating really well, smoothly. Very happy. Might not get the best mark, but I just would think he'd be very happy with that test.
So Benjamin Massie of France completing his test there as an individual rider here at these FEI Eventing European Championships. As we say, it's a 9-year-old into the field, edition Fonroy. Going to be really interesting to see how that combination develops over the next 12 months plus. We talked there, Lucinda, you know, a younger horse coming in here, getting some good experience here this week. How would you rate that? What would you take that you're looking forward to?
I would rate that very highly. I think, again, we've got another horse with the neck coming out of his shoulder a little bit low, which makes it hard for them to really be up in front, as they say, and carry themselves. So at 9, he's nowhere near at his full strength yet. And yet his self-carriage and his outline in the test, I thought, looked really super. I'd love to see this horse at 11 or 12. He's got a lovely basic pace, beautiful ability to hold his legs in the air that little second longer, so that he gives that wonderful, elegant cadence across the extended trot. And I think there's a huge amount here to come.
Well, it translates into a score of 35.7 this time around, into 9th place so far. Judge at E, 62.86. Judge at C, 64.29, and judge at M, 65.71. In terms of percentage, that's 64.29, but 35.7.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
I can't see, but I wonder if he should have had his front legs off the track a little bit more. But I love the crossing, and I love the way the whole horse is just soft through his body, but just not strong yet. And these changes will come. I'm sure they will. They're already nearly there. He's being such a good chap. Benjamin doing a lovely job. Rider for the future. Rides his horses in these new type of plastic bits. Interested to see how it works cross country. Look like a very nice rein back coming too.
We'll see how that combination goes out over the next few years, and be really interested to see them go cross country come Saturday as well for Benjamin Massie and edition Fonroy. So they go into 9th place at this stage. Let's say a little bit of breathing space here in each of the tests. We've got Netherlands coming up next, and then we're back into the team riders as we'll head off to Ireland. We've got Ireland, Belgium, Germany, Netherlands and Italy to go into this next session. You see across some of the facilities here, new restaurants and everything from, well, every facility you could think of. It's going to be really interesting to see how this as a facility now goes to the next level. It's had fantastic support from Macron downwards to really bring this together, which is going to be a good plus for the region and a good plus for equestrian sport here in France as well. Of course, they've had a lot of investment going on in the lead up to Paris, as London did as well, and real buzz around that coming up. But coming up now, we go into the familiar colours of the Netherlands, and it is Jordi Wilken and Wilbert Boel. Again, individual combination, and by Watermill Rolex out of Winnie, which was by Woodstock for our next rider. And Jordi, who competed at the Europeans back in 2015 as well. And finishing top 5 in all the season in Marsberger Nations Cup in Italy. The dressage of 33.2 there. And didn't have quite a smoother run cross country for them. But here on the 14-year-old.
Next to go for the Netherlands, Jordi Wilken, riding Wilbert Boel. And they are 14-year-old Jordi Wilken.
Of course, a rider with lots of experience through championships before now, but this they're looking for their first senior championship completion. As part of the lineup at the World Games last year.
Just going to the clothes for a minute. You remember the very first one we had this morning, Sarah Ennis. She had her tails just, I don't know how she secured them, but it looked like they were pinned to her thigh, to her breeches. And it's exactly for this reason, because even if there isn't a wind, just the wind that you make cantering along can flap the tails, and some horses couldn't care less, and other horses get upset by it.
So you control your conditions, if you like. You do everything you can
well,
to make
that's control the controllables, because there's
yes, exactly.
a heck of a lot of uncontrollables. So the orange coat, it looks crimson, doesn't it, on our telly? But there you go. Now that looks orange.
Yeah, we're out of the shadows for the 29-year-olds. Jordi Wilken of the Netherlands then, and Wilbert Boel, this 14-year-old.
Lovely square halts we're getting,
yes,
aren't we? Time and again, they're impressing the judges. Another lovely basic trot pace put into shoulder in. And then just as smoothly you're trying to come around this quite tight 10-metre half circle, which bends your horse's body exactly how you want it bent to take the half pass as your next movement. So that's why I like this beginning of this test so much. I'm less happy about the halt and the rein back. I'd love that a bit later, but so what? It's there and it's working. A little bit of leg movement, that wasn't to tell the horse what to do, that was just to get himself into the comfortable balance that he needed to be able to rein back.
It's an 8 in the early halt. Rein back sees them well arranged from 7 through to 5.
And as they do sit in 3 different places, the judges, there is going to be a range of marks. There's one on the left now. And this half pass, you can see the hands just saying, hey, keep your head up. We don't want you ducking your head down. There's a certain outline that is what is strived for. And it doesn't include the nose dropping inside the vertical or the head dropping too low, except in the extended walk. And then we're on medium now as we get to S. This is quite slow, but I think it's fine. I think it actually wasn't quite slow. I think it was perfect when the other camera came on. And now can he stretch his nose in front of the vertical, because that will really help his walk and his mark. But sometimes if you do that, they trot off. So you can't always do what you know you need. Yeah, well done. you're trying to get the nose to stretch out in front of the vertical and not just duck in to their kneecaps. And it's jolly difficult to do. I think it's the most difficult pace walk because you don't have a massive impulsion to deal with. And on an event horse, if you're not careful, it explodes. Well done. And then sometimes when you've got that snorting, I think that was a good change, but it was a couple of strides early. The snorting can be a sign of tension when it sounds like that. It's interesting how there are different sounds of snorts. Sometimes it's a relaxation, sometimes it's a bit, oops. He's somewhere between the two, I think, with his. That's a lovely extension. Head and the neck aren't really stretching out at all, but he's keeping a lovely open pace. Shut up about that. Wait and see what the mark was. I'm just interested.
You're waiting to see whether
well, I'm not seeing it terribly clearly, and I think that's probably, it wasn't quite perfect, but I hate to criticise, especially when I don't really know what I'm seeing.
Flying change gets a 4 and a 5.
Yeah, wasn't quite there. Oh, that's rather lovely, isn't it? Look at the suspension in that. Oh my goodness, that's something to work with. How lovely. So what age is he? Some age, this guy. He's 14. The rider's 29. Well done, super test.
So he should put them around the 33 mark for Jordi Wilken and Wilbert Bol for the Netherlands. And Lucinda, with definitely some good pieces to take out of that.
Oh, some lovely pieces. It interests me that double bridle, we haven't seen too many. That's 2 bits in the mouth at once, which is all completely legal. And some horses go beautifully with 2 bits in their mouth. You'd think, oh my goodness, what a mouthful. He's never going to go well in it. If you've got a horse that's a little bit difficult in the mouth and you pop him in a double bridle, the 2 bits, and you have a bit of velvet in your hands. And sometimes it really can work.
32.9 as the score, goes into 6th place so far, and it is a percentage score of 67.14, judge at E 65, judge at C 68.81, and judge at M 67.62 for Jordi Wilken and Wilbert Bol for the Netherlands. Doesn't change their score because their next team rider is still to come. Andy Heffernan was there first on 29, so the Dutch did get a good start this morning. A long way to go. Of course, this is just phase 1 of competition. Down under the trees, lots of faces watching this afternoon, which is lovely to see, and a few canine ones or two. So let's take a look.
There's a lovely bit of film of the melt from trot to walk, and then it's already slow-mo, but I thought it looked a bit slow-mo when it was in real time, that first bit of walk. And now we're heading for the half pass, looking good. It's beautiful movement actually, those crossing over of the legs, and that's the slightly slow motion walk in slow motion.
Donc il faut avoir au moins 3 cavaliers, donc l'Autriche a 3 cavaliers, la Suisse a 4 cavaliers, la Suède en a 5, donc il y en a une en individuel, la France, l'Allemagne, la Belgique, l'Italie, les Pays-Bas et la Grande-Bretagne ont 6 cavaliers, donc 2 en individuel.
Experienced combination, putting a solid score up.
This is this lovely extended trot that we both enjoyed so much. Very difficult to sit to. Truly doing really well to absorb, as well as he is, that bounce in each stride.
Well, showing their apparent ability, goes into 6th place so far, 32.9 for Jordi Wilken and Wilbert Bol. So then we await the next of the team riders, because we're back under way with Team Ireland. So here we are with Felicity Ward and the Irish bred gelding by Orestes VDL for James O'Callaghan. Regal Bounty. And for the Irish rider, who say comes into the squad. Competed at the World Championships but retired cross country last year in Pretoni. 15th in Le Moulin in the 5-star there as well, so it's been up to that level. Her dressage of 38.5, finished on 46.5. And Mill Street this season completing there as well. Competed here last year in the Nations Cup as well, and makes up the next for the Irish lineup.
So bred in Ireland he may be, but he's definitely foreign. He has a father who's, I'm not quite sure what type of horse, what breed of horse that is, but Oysters VDL. You might recognise that from show jumping.
Well,
VDL.
VDL would be Dutch from that point of view.
Perfect,
usually,
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm rather enjoying the fact that this horse's mother is called Edge of Reason.
I'm saying nothing.
I thought you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, and I won't text your daughter either. But from that point of view, and again, you've talked about the Irish breeding in there. You know, there's been a lot of movement in the Irish breeding of horses now. They have got some world-class horses now, and they have brought some of those European lines in, and they are really producing fantastic horses certainly into the show jumping side and into the eventing side as well now. And I'm sure a few into dressage too, but it's going to be interesting with our second of those to go for the Irish for the team. It's Felicity Ward and Regal Bounty. 33-year-olds. So you'll see the 4 rider animation there. That signifies they're part of the team.
A left-hander, left-handed people bow with their left hand. It always makes me think twice when that happens. Very quality horse. Interesting shape, a little bit difficult neck because the line under the neck as it reaches the throat should really be a U, not a V, but some horses just are not shaped in such a way that you can produce this U. And so it does have the effect of making them look a little bit tight, when in fact it may just be the way God's put them together. Very nice rhythm through those 2 movements, and now the halt. And you can say quite a lot of whoa, whoa, whoa under your breath. You have to be very quiet though, because you're right up by the judges. 2 judges' boxes are this end. Just a little bit questioning what he had to do there, but it was well executed. Elegant half pass. Felicity keeping a lovely rhythm through her body, which is transferring to the horse, and another super transition down into walk, or up into walk, however you'd like to say it. That right front leg's doing something funny. I don't know whether he's got a fly, but he stamps with that right front leg round the corner. Both of them are doing the same thing now, so that's good, but one doesn't want to do something that the other leg isn't doing. It's a nice extended walk. I hope they give that a good mark. The medium got a nice enough one, 667. Look at that, that's reach. I wonder how he'll be to shorten up across country. I wonder if he'll be good and athletic like that.
Extended walk sees them at 7.5 through to 6.
Well, that was a fraction late, and then a little bit of a stamping his foot and saying, just wasn't perfect. But he did it. And at this point in their education, you're just jolly glad you get it done.
And balances out 5, 6 and a 4, so we'll average out at 5. Now we can let loose.
Yes, and lovely. Look how the under his neck's gone from a V to a U, so she's allowed him to stretch that little bit without losing any balance. I think that was all right, but I'll wait to be judged. The hind leg has got a very sharp movement in the flying change, which takes your eye a little bit. I'll be interested to see what the maestros judge that as. 6, yeah. I think that's very, very much a good mark. Off we go, an extended trot. A little bit limited in the front legs. That leg's doing a good job.
Into the close the test then for Felicity Ward. Second rider for Team Ireland. We'll see what Flick's score is. And we'll say it'll be to build on that of their first rider, Sarah Ennis, on 38.8.
Oh, what a lovely stretch. It's got a long enough neck when he sticks it out like that. You can see him just how we would feel if we'd been working in a particular position. You think, oh, this is lovely, and you'd stretch in all directions, and he's doing that with his head and neck, and she's not bothered. Great walk. Extended walk got reasonably good marks.
Yeah, let's see. Total score of 37.9 in terms of penalties. Percentage score of 62.06. Judge at E, 60.71. Judge at C takes them to 63.81. And judge at M, 61.67. As I say, for 62.06. 13th spot for Felicity Ward and Regal Bounty for the second of the Irish combinations. And so as they will head down the chute, we'll take a look at how that is for the Irish team. Very, very early stages, of course, just with the second rider coming in. There's a lot to build out over the next couple of days before we get to Saturday's showdown cross-country. And here a little look back at some of the key elements.
Coming into his halt. He's quite a narrow horse, I should think, to ride, but he's tall. There's a lot of him, especially when he puts his head and neck right out. Stand still.
Nearly so, but nearly
nothing
perfect.
you can do about it. They just pick up a foot and put it back down again. Interesting watching that right leg. It just moves in a slightly different way to the left one. Lovely strike off. And if we get this flying change in slow-mo, maybe I'll learn something about it. My eye isn't quick enough to see what's happening. Yes, he's sort of. She asked for it to stride before he gave it, and when he did give it, it looked true enough.
Yeah.
Lovely half pass. See that outside right leg of Felicity's just nudging him over, indicating what he wants. She wants him to do.
So second of the Irish combinations completed. And we'll await the next. So we're going into the next group of team riders. It'll be on to Belgium, Germany, Netherlands and Italy to come into this next group before a short pause. Lara de Liedekerke-Meier to go now, and this is going to be Hermione Darville by Berkov's Royaldik, and for the 10-year-old mare, Lara, hugely experienced rider as well, onto the squad here. And in fact her 6 senior Europeans, 2 top 20s before now. She was eliminated cross-country at the World Championships, but finished 4th in the Nations Cup in Jardy and 7th in Le Moulin as well. Started off last season in good form too in Poland.
I'm just reading my wonderfully helpful horse and hound form guide, which says that poor things fell at the first fence in the Worlds last year. And that I was commentating there, but I never saw that. I guess the first fence was never on air.
No, that's a tricky one.
Yes, that's really unfortunate. Poor girl.
Well, hopefully for better luck, as I say, a number of European Championships under her belt. Lara de Liedekerke-Meier and Hermione Darville. Darville being a home base.
So in comes Hermione or Hermione, I don't know which. There's so many different ways of just translating that name. Lovely halt. Doing a really good job on their entries, most of the ones we've seen. 10 years old again. Homebred. Arville is the site of a wonderful event in Belgium that Lara's family hold and breed not just the daughters but also the horses. 2 girls together here. Lovely girl she is too. And that was referring to the horse, but so is Lara.
Starts off with 6 and 7s in the score for the shoulder in.
Oh, he just brought that hind leg up.
Yeah.
Would have given a wonderful square hold. Little bit hurried.
Yes.
Some horses just find it quite unnerving going backwards and didn't quite make enough steps and just sunk back a little bit. But I'm sure that's another thing that will come at the young age that she is. Those of you that take part in young horse classes at 5, 6 and 7 must say, what is she talking about? This horse is 10. But believe me, at this level, 10 is still not very old. They still haven't had a lot of education.
And the point is you're getting education at each stage, aren't you? So
exactly.
You don't hit international competition and suddenly go, right, we're ready. You know, it's all perfect and it's all...
It builds,
Yeah.
and that's one of the biggest words, along with balance. You're trying to balance your horse's building up of his career, his structure, his muscles, his strength, his courage, his understanding. What is it you want me to do? So this extended walk, just a trifle. I think probably she's doing as good a walk as she can for the moment, but I wouldn't expect it to get ravishing marks yet.
Medium walk sees them at 7.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good, yeah.
Extended walk, 7 and 6.5.
There you are. Shows how much I know about it.
Different angles.
Yeah, we'll blame the angles.
Different
Thank
angles.
you. And that, I'm going to stick my neck out and say, was a really good change.
Okay.
Wait for it.
Say what you see. There you go. 7.5 and a 7. You are there. Don't worry about it.
That was a good one. Thank goodness. And off we go. Extend that canter, lengthen that body. Well done. Nose has come out a little bit, which is, I think, all part of them lengthening their body. It does depend how the nose comes out, I know. Lovely, good girl. 2 good girls. Not quite so good. It was a shame because it worked and then suddenly she bounced back onto the other leg. I'd love to see that in slow-mo. Can't quite translate it.
Yeah, flying change gives them a 3 this time, unfortunately.
She had it, then she undid it, and then she had it again. So, extended trot. Just a little bit lacking in that. The age will give her the power to be able to suspend her front legs more as she carries more weight on her hind legs, but it's not there just yet. The normal trot is lovely.
Extended trot season with 7's transitions of 6.5 and 7 as they come into the final halt. Lara de Liedekerke-Meier and Hermione Darville. Second for the Belgian squad. Belgium with their first out. Cyril Gavljevic on 33.6. There we go, a few good pats. Job well done. Thank you very much. Let's see how it translates. Yeah, 31.9. Going into 6th place on a percentage score of 68.1. Judge at E, 69.29. Judge at C, 66.90. And at M, 68.1. For Lara. So preparing for the Belgian team, and a deserved round of applause. Nice and chilled, then a breather for Saturday's cross country. There we see for the team, those are the 2 scores already under the belt for Belgium, 33.6 and 31.9, so a solid enough start for them. And set here back into the test.
Very beginning, the shoulder in that leads them into the half circle, which leads them into the half pass, which is a very nice start. I feel this mare is going to be really lovely as she gets stronger and older. Got a good head on her shoulders, good temperament. And that was the one I thought was all right, I think. I think it was the next one that went a little bit skewy. It's difficult enough when you bring them back onto that straight line from the half pass that they don't then give you another flying change because you're using much the same aids. Yes, oh shame. Yeah, the hind leg sort of changes and changes back and changes back again. I don't quite know, but it just wasn't going to give her more than 3. Lucky white sock behind. That near hind. Always been a lucky white sock for me.
I was going to ask why lucky.
That's why my good boys had that. Looks good in slow-mo.
Yes.
That's what you're aiming for in fast-mo.
Well, they did speed that up a little.
Yeah.
For them, you were talking about the extension there. I mean, the last move we saw, what would we be looking for a perfect score, if you like?
We've seen a couple of... It's just the leg is almost, I think the word is suspended.
Yeah.
And if it comes down a bit quicker, they haven't quite got the strength to hold themselves on their hind legs. We're always talking about a horse carrying himself. And what we mean is the strength is in his haunches, in his back end, that he doesn't have to lean on the bit, that he can let his front legs suspend out. But it is also somewhat indigenous. Good movement is born into horses, but you can make an incredible trot out of a very normal trot over time. The difficult one to make good is walk.
Yeah.
And that always surprises people. But you can make trot good, but walk and to a degree canter are what they are, a natural.
Well, this is a good combination as well coming up because Christoph Wahler of Germany and Kartian S, part of the squad winning at the World Championships last year in Protoni, and aboard the gelding by Clearway for Christoph and Lina Thunis. And Christoph on the 13-year-old here, as they made their debut onto the team last year, and it was a world gold. 2 superb individual performances before now, including 7th in 2021 as well for them, and one in Poland earlier on this season on their dressage score of 27.9, finished 4th in Aachen, and again kicked off the dressage on 33.6. Last year individually 22nd at the World Championships. So the second of the team riders up for Germany, already with Malin Hansen-Huttop, completing her test at 31.5. Germany and Great Britain, traditionally a battle for the European Championship, especially over the last few years as well. Germany, the 6 times winners of the title. Now on the 14-year-old gelding for Christoph Wahler of Germany.
Just putting in a special bit into his trot there. Just saying, "Oi, come here, we're about to start. I want you looking your best."
accuracy of 37.
A nice melt into halt. Polished hooves. Nearly all these horses are coming in with a little bit of oil put on their hooves to make them look even more glamorous.
A good start. 7.5s and 7.
Another one with a very open, exaggerated trot, able to maintain that through the shoulder in and through the half pass, but it's always unfortunate when they do that, because it does just hinder the balance a bit. And then some horses spook at the mess they've left when they come round next time, and that's really bad luck. Very nice rein back. Interesting, 8.5 and then 2 6.5s for that rein back. That was the judge at the side that sees something different to the ones that are dead in front of the rein back. Very active. The word pliable comes to mind. Just watching his head drop in there right in front of the judges when you don't want the nose to go in behind the vertical, and it did do as he came down at sea. It's a nice extended walk. It's just, you just love to get that nose to go a little bit out in front of the vertical, but it's a hard thing to do on some horses. Just so much in the way they're shaped. That's what he's doing with his hands, just saying, keep your nose out.
Extended walk mark 6.5 and 2 7.5. Him under 30 at the moment.
I think I can clearly say that was a good one.
Relates in there for a collected count of a 6.5 for the judge at E. Flying changes at 7.
Now let's see how he extends. It's looking very good. Nose has come out. Certainly the stride is opened. And he's come back. Well, it's a very short distance. These arenas are 60 metres long. By the time you got round the corner and asked them to go, you've got to come back again. There's very short distance to show your extended canter, especially with a horse like this, beautiful change, who moves with such a big open stride. Yeah. You'd like the arena another 15 metres longer.
You're not having it though, but he gets 8. So that's good, 8 across the board. And 8 for the flying change as well.
Rather expecting a superb extended trot. Let's see. Yeah, nose out in front. Oh, that's disappointing. I knew it. You see, spectators, jolly curse, isn't it? Because it was lovely, and then he broke into canter, and that would have destroyed the mark. Such a shame. And all you think as that happens is, I've just lost the European Championships. You know these marks matter so much.
Well, it was the difference of going down to 27.1 at that point, which was going to go into the lead, and maybe top 3, and bearing in mind from the last long list of European Championships, the winner has come out of the top 3, but we'll see what the final score is for Christoph Wahler and Kartian S for Germany. Seconds of the lineup for the German team. See how that affects the final score. Again, nice and relaxed on the way out. And there we go, puts them into second at 28.3. Again, all 3 scores above 70, as it would suggest, in the final percentage of 71.67. At E, 71.19. At C, 72.38. And at M, 71.43. So 28.3 into second for Christoph Wahler and Kartian S for Germany.
I think the judges are holding a very good you might call it tough. I don't call it tough. I just call it very good and consistent. Yeah, exactly. And somebody was telling me that they're usually in the mid-20s and they got a high 20, but they were still the same amount of marks behind the one in front of them as they are when they're in the mid-20s. So that's great. That shows that it's being consistent, and that's a hard thing to keep, especially when you have a night off and start again with a new set, 2 new sets of people tomorrow morning. But we've got a way to go before we get to tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. A good set of judges led by Judy Hancock, and it's Malin Hansen-Hodop of Germany on 31.5, Christoph Wahler on 28.3, laying down some good scores to then maybe start having another spin at the British squad this time around. As say, Germany and Great Britain the last few years, it's been a real battle between those two for the gold medal position. Podium could well change around here this year, we will see. But Christoph Wahler, part of that gold medal winning team, and bearing in mind the Germans still with Sandra Alfarth and Mikkel Jung to come onto the team yet, but Great Britain still with some big guns to fire, including the world champion in Yasmin Ingham and Laura Collett still to come of the Olympic gold medal winning team. So there's plenty of dressage, plenty of competition to unfold yet, but seeing this through through the slow-mo of Christoph and some impressive parts of this test.
So now we'll see that first really lovely start of the extended trot. Everything's looking really good. And then what happens? It's heartbreaking, actually, because you're sitting still like a mouse, keeping your horse in balance, allowing your body to move with him, and then all of a sudden you feel that canter come. And it is really heartbreaking because everything felt fine, and then suddenly, bang, it's gone, and the mark's gone from possibly an 8.5 down to something considerably less. Did you happen to see what he got for the extended? I didn't know. I don't think they showed it. I don't think it was shown. A few Union Jack hats there, must be hot.
They'll put up with it for support.
Exactly, we love that.
Take us on to the Netherlands, and Janica Buono and ACSI Champ-de-Tullier is going to be by Kidam de Revel, and out of Vera for the next of the Dutch squad. Their first, of course, was their team manager as well, chef de keep in Andy Heffernan, who's currently in third with Gideon on 29, so that was a good start. And now moving over to their next in the orange colours for the Netherlands. European Championship previously in 2021, didn't see it through to the finish unfortunately there. Third in Stragom back in June in the 4-star there for the Nations Cup. Actually had 31.7 in the dressage there. And also part of the lineup at the Olympic Games. Unfortunately was eliminated cross country on that occasion.
That was an agonising one. There were 5 people eliminated in Tokyo because they didn't get this series of the ABCs right, and they jumped the B or the C part twice because they went from one route to another without realising that they were numbered very, very cleverly. And I don't think we have quite that situation in this particular championship, but we absolutely had it at Tokyo, and 5 people came unstuck, and I felt so sorry for them all the way to Tokyo. First Olympic Games, and bang, you get eliminated for jumping fence part B twice because you hadn't quite got how it was supposed to be.
Well, chance for a redemption this week.
Exactly.
Starts off with an 8 as part of their early scores.
Just not quite settled in the mouth. Maybe it'll get better. It's just you can see that little bit of head moving, waggling a little bit. Lovely hold, if you just stay there. Good boy. 16 years old. Had an easy year last year, not doing any international competitions, but has come out very well this spring.
Actually, as I understand it, Janica was out with hip surgery as well last year. So
that's probably why her horse did very little. She's much too young to have hip surgery.
I don't know the full extent. Anyway, Rainback gets 5s and 6 and a 6.5.
Just keeping his head up there as he comes down into walk. Nice medium walk, gives way to extension. Nose going out, well done, not coming into the kneecaps, but going out in front of the line, the vertical line, which is what you're after. And an interesting walk. He looks like he's in a bit of a hurry, but I don't think he is. I think that's just the way he does it. I think that's jolly good. It'd be interesting to see how that's marked. Gathers up the reins. Once he's got the strike off, sometimes you don't dare do it before you strike off, or they anticipate good change. Outside leg, her right leg just pushing him across. Inside leg tries to keep him bent. Lovely extended. Just head wobbling a little bit on the way back into the working canter. I think the change was true, but it may be a fraction later than she'd asked for it, which I guess they will notice. The
3 judges.
Quite a lot going on in her hands. I wouldn't know how soft in her hands this horse feels.
Line change varies between 7 and 4.5.
Oh, that's interesting, right. So
well,
then I can't be wrong if we've got that variation, yes. I think I'd just be interested to see this horse going in a variety of different bits. I just wonder, they've probably been in a mass of different bits, and this is the one he's most happy in.
Janica Buono and Haras du Pin for the Netherlands. Second of the team rider for the Dutch. Andy Heffernan back now into team manager role.
And he's brave enough to put himself first too. I asked him if the selectors put him first, or he didn't. He said, I have. And it's put the pressure on me to lead from the front and do jolly well, because if you can get a good test, which he did this morning, and then if he can go across country well on Saturday, it gives a tremendous morale boost to the team. If you make a mistake, the team is feeling a little bit negative, and he's put a huge amount of pressure on himself by putting himself first. But he has done 2 Nations Cup, and he's done both times very, very well, best of all the Dutch, and leading from the first place to go in the team.
And yes, it's going to be very difficult to give himself a talking to, I suppose, but he'll do that himself without. As you say, the actuality is you put yourself under pressure.
You do, and it's difficult when you're trying to care for everybody else. You've got to remember that actually, in this case, you need to look after yourself, because otherwise it becomes a less safe situation.
Well, it looks like 2 solid starts. There we go, 32.5. There's Andy back on the floor in shorts, walking back down. Percentage score is 67.46, judge at E 65.95, judge at C 66.9, and judge at M 69.52. So going into 8th place individually for the second combination. For the team for the Netherlands, 3 riders have actually gone because there was 1 individual in there. But Janica Buono there, and Haras du Pin 32.5. Andy Heffernan starting off well on 29. Sander de Jong and Merel Blom-Hulsman still to come for the Netherlands. That will, of course, though, be part of tomorrow's competition. Day 2 here in Haras du Pin. In the meantime, we take a look at the slow-mo of the test just completed. Here to the halt and the rein back. Not quite getting the square halts.
That immobility you're so trying to help your horse learn to do. Sort of 5.5, but Looked a nice rein back to me. I don't know how good the marks were, but that head waggling is where I think he'll have lost a few marks. There's some very nice bits in this test. She's trying to keep him pliable in his mouth, and most of the time doing a very good job. Rather like this walk in slow motion. Sort of reminds me of a slow waltz.
Well timed. Let's take another look here for the change.
Oh. Something happened before he actually changed, didn't it? It was strange. It didn't just come smoothly through. But he did change both hind and front together.
British supporters, in case you hadn't noticed.
Well done, well done. They've seen themselves on the telly, giving it a good wave.
Yeah.
The Mad Hatters.
Starting to feel like the cricket as well, with the Barmy Army out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's go to the calm of Italy. Evelina Bertoli and FEI Eventing is going to be by Aga Khan. And our next up for the Italian team, one already completed, that Giovanni Ugolotti on 30.6, so a good start for the Italians. And Evelina, police officer in Italy, competed at the World Championships last year, last at Europeans as well with Seashore Spring. She won in Avanche in the 3-star short this year in preparation on 27.1 as their final score. They were 26.3 in the dressage, and also going very well in Italy. Again, scoring mid-20s, 25.8 in the dressage there for a final score of 36.2 into second spot. So a good run-up into these championships, but then the next step up.
Swedish bred mare.
Just outside the top 10 in Le Moulin in the 4-star short.
"12 years old. Elegant type. And Evelina in the uniform of, and I don't know if it's the Air Force or the police.
It's
it
police.
Is the police, is it? Thank you.
So don't get in trouble this week.
No, please don't get in trouble, exactly. And the reason that this happens is because they get a certain amount of help from government funding if they are in one of the services, one of the forces. So they tend, these lovely, elegant Italian girls, to come in wearing a uniform like this.
8 for the Halton salute to start off with. Shoulder in at 6.5.
Another one with those big thigh rolls on her saddle to stabilise her leg.
What did you make? Looked a good halt.
I thought it looked a very nice rein back. I was interested how it was dead on 5. Picked up his hind leg and about to put it down, and then just went forwards into trot. It was great. What did she get? 6.5. Yeah, pretty good. Lovely lead into the half-past right there. People are really understanding about bending their horses the way they're going. I know that sounds obvious, but it's anything but when you've got a stiff eventer. And they're getting very good at the straight line entry and the halt and this trot down to a walk in front of the judge. Whether this one's on the edge of boiling, I don't think so, but the walk is quite hurried, but I think that's just the way he does it. She does it, sorry. The mare. She's settling now and stretching and doesn't look like she's about to break. By break, I mean pop into trot when you just don't want it. She's going to have to be quite careful how she gathers her up, I think. She looks a sensitive mare. She's just creeping her fingers up the reins, getting her shoulders back a little, and then giving that instruction to canter, and the mare does it beautifully without fussing. And that was a super change. I'd like to think that will get a good mark, but we'll see.
.5, 6.5 and 7 for the flying change.
Yeah, good. And a nice difference in pace shown, but difficult to get her to lengthen her neck in that extended canter. She's built, it'll be interesting to see when she walks out on a long rein if she is built with her neck coming out the top of her body or a little bit low down. What do you reckon to that change? Put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot now. Flying change came out at 6.5, sure. came out consistent. It looked pretty good. So.
I think we can say it was pretty good if it comes out with that mark. And how will she find extended? Oh, there's something there. And that's only going to come better.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Very nice mare. I should watch with interest as she walks out on a loose rein. Lovely salute to all three judges. Well done.
Got a full-on salute to complete for Evelina Bertoli of Italy. And Fidia Melizeth. There we go, you're watching closely. Job well done.
I think she has a neck rather well put on, actually. I thought it was coming out a little bit lower in her body, but I think it's rather well placed. It's a very nice quality mare, isn't it? Sensible head on her shoulders today, anyhow.
Salutes the arena team, and that will be our final combination of this session. Let's see where they score, and 30.9, so percentage score of 69.13. Judge at E hits the 70, judge at C 69.52, so short of that 70 mark. M a little further back at 67.86 and goes into 5th place for Evelina Bertoli of Italy. So Italy actually with 4th and 5th in the early stages here. Giovanni on 30.6 and Evelina on 30.9. So very good start for the Italians.
Wow,
there we go.
That is very exciting.
Yeah. The experience for Zanna Bordoni still to come, and Fosco Girardi for the Italian team to come up, and that'll be part of tomorrow's competition as well. But Susanna probably the most experienced of the team. And so that will take us into a short break in just a moment's time. We will be back then with our next group at 4:20. That's how they sit after this morning and our first afternoon dressage session. Kitty King, Valtteri Biats, 27.2, nearly but not deposed by Christoph Wahler on 28.3. Andy Heffernan, after a solid test this morning with Gideon, in 3rd still at 29. He's just moved down the 1 slot, and as I say, we saw 2 for Italy there in the 30s, 30.6 and 30.9. And the first German rider, Marlin Hudson Rotop, on 31.546 spot, and still with the next of their team to come out, but they had Christoph Wahler a little bit earlier on as well with that solid score. And for the Irish 3 there at 37 and above, and also there the individual combinations that we saw a little bit earlier on, including for France, Benjamin Massie, taking them down into the lower levels. And we're going to be back in a few minutes' time. Well, a little bit longer than that. 4:20 is going to be our next test. Join us just a few minutes before that as we build up to our final session of the day. And that will include 5 team riders and the rest of the group for individuals. We'll see you back very, very shortly.
And of course, the train track area will be open till late this evening with the exhibitors and partners cocktail at 7:30 in the Champagne Bar.
Well, they're the standings as they are now, as we mentioned, going into that, or completing that last session as we go into our final session of the day. Kitty King and Vendredi Biats from this morning, 27.2 from the British combination. Germany into this afternoon, Christoph Wahler making an impact there with Kajetan S on 28.3, getting close for Germany, but still with a very good group to come for the German squad, as they have for the British, including one this afternoon. And those already completed a little further down. And scores only into the 30s there for this group. Ian Castles of that session we've just seen for Ireland started it off with 37.5. And Felicity Ward there with Regal Bounty, 37.9. And we will move into our final session of the day. Just a wisps of cloud up above, and we'll be back underway with Switzerland with the combination of Melody Jona, and then we move on to Sweden with Sofia Sjöborg is going to be after that. So we've got France, we've got Great Britain, all those for the teams. You can see that's where the 4 helmet animation comes in. And there for Austria, 3. Well, there are just 3 on the team, so therefore that signifies that. And then the individual riders to come this afternoon too, for Denmark, Italy, Sweden, Netherlands, and for Germany as well. Those full complements being 4 on a team plus 2 individuals as well, potentially competing here this week as part of this FEI Eventing European Championship here in Haras du Pin. So a final session which will take us just short of 6 o'clock this evening to around 5:45 to complete, and is just the first slice of what is to come over the next 2 days of top class competition as we progress through this year's championships. And coming up, we'll be going on to Switzerland, as we mentioned. France with a good start as well, with Stéphane Landois on 31.8. They have Karim Laghouag to come up this afternoon as well as part of the team. And as everybody resettles into position, the British making their flags known so far. A few of the other nations, I can see a just folded German flag there. I'm sure will be flying a little later on, and others all to be in the game. Very interesting week of competition as well, and just to touch on as well, 2 Olympic places available this week as well. So key for 4 teams: Austria, Belgium, Italy, and Netherlands this week, looking for Olympic qualification. There's also a spot to come out of the Nations Cup, and for those globally, the Pan Am Games later on this year as well. So those final spots coming up for those looking to head to Paris in 2024. Sweden supported that there as well. They're already in as part of that group. And perfect afternoon for donning the Panama, sitting back and enjoying the competition. And we're going to get back underway. Here we go. Lucinda Green alongside me for the afternoon and for the week as well, I'm delighted to say. And we will resume with Melody Jona of Switzerland with Troubaud de Rie. This one by Mr. Blue is the gelding. 16-year-old for Melody, and for the rider who's been a past junior champion but progressed very well from there. It's been a little while since then. She was part of the World Championships last year, team 7th there, Olympics in Tokyo as well, where she was finishing well with this same ride, team 10th spot there, individual top 20, and started out decently in Stregom in Poland this year in the 4-star long there too, with a dressage of 34.2. Swiss already in terms of qualification there for that group for Olympics, and so Melody will be the second for the Swiss lineup. It was Robin Godel earlier on today on 33. Lucinda, lovely to have you back with us. Really interesting afternoon session that we've seen so far.
It has been, and the judging has stayed, I feel, very it stayed very level, and there's been some jolly nice tests, but they haven't suddenly shot them into having a 19 or a 21. The marks they've kept quite firm. You see some good flying changes, and you just get 3 7s, and that's fine because it's probably not an exceptional one, but it's good because sometimes we're seeing some flying changes that aren't just quite true, and hind legs are coming through after, or one was before the front legs change. So all a bit technical, but here we go. Afternoon session with our 16-year-old. Melody 39 herself. This lovely horse has been campaigned by 2 other riders at international level. Sel Francais, French bred. Another one in a double bridle. I've seen 1 or 2 of those today, not that many.
Getting the 6s and 7s for steady start for them. Little jump forwards.
Yes, he was a little bit unsure that he was really wanted to stop at that point, and now he's getting a good look at the audience over there, which isn't helping. Although it is sitting him down on his backside, so maybe that's not such a bad thing, but he'll get a few bad marks for looking a little bit hollow.
They're varying between 5.5 and 6.5, 5.5 and 5 for the Rainback.
Nice half pass, keeping up a nice forward flow. Every now and again he sticks his little tongue out the bottom of his mouth, which shouldn't be a problem, because I just think it's the way he does it. Sometimes if they hang their tongue out the side of the mouth, that is seriously frowned upon and marks are taken off. But he's just doing a little licking of his lips. I hope that that doesn't take from his marks. Extended walk. And he's moving along. He doesn't have that enormous reach in his stride, but he's certainly powering along and showing a difference between medium and extended. Head nicely stretched out, and now pop him back together as best you can without him jogging, and ask for canter. Not a movement you can practice very much, because if they get used to striking off after they've been collected in walk, they very quickly learn to canter or trot to trot before you want them to go. Little flying change was not over expressive, but was fine. Extended canter really showed a difference there. Lengthened out his body. Flying changes didn't get hugely good marks, but they certainly weren't too bad. Another one coming up here. Not so good that time. He slightly didn't listen to when she asked him to do it. And when he did do it, he was, as they say, late behind. The hind leg only came through a little bit after the front leg had changed. See if there's any extended trot in there now.
Big step for flying change, but that looks good.
Yeah, I mean, within this horse's parameters, because he's an older horse and he doesn't have that naturally elegant movement, that was lovely. Half pass well marked. What was that? Nice horse. Extended trot, and you can see the marks for that, never mind.
It'll all come out in the wash.
It will.
So scores to come for Melody Jona and Torbrue for Switzerland. Robin Godel started them off on 33. Nice relaxed walk. Overall impression there, Lucinda?
I couldn't help feeling I was watching a 16-year-old, which in some horses is not that old. We've had plenty of horses. Charisma won a gold medal. I think he was 16 with Mark Todd in Seoul. But he just maybe has always had that just slightly smaller pace, and it may have been how he came out of his mum, and he's going great guns at 16, but I haven't seen him before, so I'm not sure.
Total 36.4, and it is going to be percentage 63.65 at E, 63.33 at C, 64.05, and at M, 63.57. And so 36.4 for the second for Switzerland, Melody Jona. There we see, put it into the team score. And then tomorrow that will be completed for the first phase. Hadiminde and Felix Vogt still to come for Switzerland. Little look back in close-up.
Comes our change. It's okay. I lie to you too, because I did see this horse in Tokyo commentating. Can't completely recall him though. Just not quite as sideways as he might be.
Yes, completed in 17. Well, competed and completed into 17th place in Tokyo. Also completed the Worlds last year.
I feel it's a very nice test, but it's just not hitting the big button. It's probably just about as good as he can do.
We'll see where that goes into the final Swiss score for the week. As I say, a little bit more to come for that yet. A relaxed afternoon here in Haras du Pin. There's some of the new facilities that many of you won't have seen because they are very sparkly new, which is great. Beyond that, several big arenas, permanent stables, and truly world-class setup for competition. Dressage up in this arena, and then we'll be completing the week with show jumping over in front of the chateau, which is lovely to see, and all a part of the ongoing development of the fabulous grounds here. Of course, it's got a great history going back. Louis XIV, 1665.
Did you say it was the royal studs?
Created the royal studs there due to lack of horses in the army as it was then, and so they were replenishing because life was a little bit different then. Louis XV, though, actually in 1715 saw it through to completion. Total of 2,471 acres in total.
That's a big area.
22 regional studs that are across the area. And for those that are following breeding as well, the thoroughbred Furioso is buried here as well. And of course, Furioso's breeding is carried on through many lines. In fact, several competing here have Furioso lines in the breeding, and that horse is buried on the site here.
Was Furioso a product of France or a product of another country?
Product of France, as far as I know. I haven't gone that far in.
I used to think Furioso was from Germany and was a Holsteiner, so I've really got that one
That was
wrong.
on the thoroughbred lines of Furioso coming through. So
yes, I did learn about Furioso.
It's moved through the years into different areas. We're going back to the 60s. But bloodlines carried through, and well, we've got much more in terms of top-class bloodlines coming up as we go to Sweden. And Sofia Sjöborg and Ramolga van het Mauritshof Z is the mare by Bameko de Muse, which is another one that features well on the jumping side as well, out of a mare by Lord Z. And going to be the next for Sweden for the 25-year-old, actually, who spends her time in Great Britain, actually, which is where she grew up, where she's from. Swedish father, US mother, and has trained with the likes of Mikkel Jung before now, back through to 2019. Actually studied electrical engineering at the University of Bath, and then back to 2019 moved to Laura Tomlinson in the UK, that many will know for dressage brilliance there as part of Team GB, but also has a good background at eventing at one point as well. Finished 8th in Le Moulin in the 4-star short, and that was the score of 43.9, and 13th individually at the last European Championships as well. So now the 25-year-old with the 12-year-old Belle, as she's better known. So good family horses you can see across there for Juliet, Matthias and Sophia. Sweden team bronze medalists in 2021 and 2019. A good start at 7.5s for their first movement.
done. Seems a very settled mare today in her temperament. Doesn't show any extraordinary movement, but is keeping a lovely regular rhythm. Sofia sitting very quiet, giving her the confidence. Looks very accurate, lovely half pass. Right under the judge's nose, and she didn't just come back exactly when she wanted her to, and was a stride late, and she might get a mark off for that. No trotting, please. I get the feeling that she might be a little bit hotter than Sofia makes her look. She's sitting beautifully on her, and everything looked calm and lovely, and I said what a good temperament she has today. But the fact that she's doing this shows that it's like the duck's legs going for it underneath the water, and the duck looking so serene on top. As soon as you've got a horse that doesn't really fancy walking, you've got attention, and you're having to deal with that in all the other movements.
Yeah, extended walk gets twos through there, unfortunately.
I think that looked lovely. It's meant to be upwards, the flying change, and I guess it was.
Yeah. See what the judges give as a score. Collected counts at 4 and 5s there. And flying change moves up to 6.5 and 6s.
Yeah, good. And well done. She's let out a little bit in extended canter. I thought that after the jiggly walk she might not dare, but things have settled right back down again. It may just be that one pace that the mare finds a little bit unsettling, because they always know there's something following the walk, so they just want to get on with it. Lovely change again, well done.
Changes see them at 7s and 6.5 as they transition.
And it's a nice extended trot too, well done. It's not over generous, but for what she's shown us, I think that's a really good effort, because she is that little bit limited in her trot, and that was nice, well done. 12 years old. Well done with the halt again.
Yes, finishes on a high note, on to 7s there for a more solid finish for the Swedes.
Sofia Sjöborg,
Bergendorf there up on the Kiss and Cry team manager and coach there, and Sweden, who've been medalists at the previous European Championships.
That's always happens, doesn't it? They completely relax when they finish and walk beautifully. And that is such a common theme amongst horses that are just a little bit uppity in walk. They take whatever tension we have to their heart.
Seems quite relaxed now, having a good old look around.
Well, if you have
nice and chilled.
One day you have to do a test, and you just have to say, right, we finished, as you come to extended walk, and just throw the reins and get told by the judges that you shouldn't have a loose rein, and just see if that helps the mare learn that there is no big deal with walking across the diagonal.
34.2 is the score, percentage score of 65.79, judge at E 65.71, judge at C 65.24, and judge at M 66.43. And there we go, it's 14th place individually for Sofia Sjöborg and Bell, and 34.2 alongside Frida Anderson's 33.3 for Sweden. Remaining 2 riders, like many to come as part of tomorrow, including Sarah Algotsson. Should be really interesting to see. Here a little look back. Halt and rein back. Whoop.
Yes, once she works out where to put her legs, she does a lovely halt.
Where am I going? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Very nice and a lovely depart. And then just not quite such a lovely canter depart because she gets her knickers in a little bit of a twist there. Lovely mare though.
On va accueillir dans un petit peu plus d'une minute le deuxième.
Good to come out of that awkward moment in walk and be relaxed enough to do a nice change.
Pour représenter les couleurs françaises, il s'agit de Karim Laghouag.
Covers some of the score to 34.2. Reminder the best score of the day so far, Kitty King on 27.2.
La médaille de bronze par équipe à Tokyo. Et qui était deuxième à Pau l'année dernière. Piton Fontaine, âgé donc de 15 ans, par Gentleman 4.
The shoots and their Swedish team with all their support and analysis. In the meantime, the French making their way through. And Karim Laghouag now of France. Piton Fontaine by Gentleman. Karim.
Oh, wants everybody to be quiet. Doesn't want any clapping. It's the trouble when you're in your home country. People are so enthusiastic that they clap and upset your horse before he's even put foot in the dressage arena.
But you know that's coming as well.
Well, he knew it, and he did sort of try and with his hand say, quiet, quiet.
Well, it is on to our next for France and next to their team ride as well. Highly experienced, of course, team bronze in 2021 in Tokyo. Back to Rio Gold in 2016 as well, and on top de Hus on that occasion. This is a pairing that finished second in Pau previously. Actually had a very good run there with their dressage of 31.4, finished on 31.8 in the end, and usually pretty good cross country as well. Useful combination. But Karim, highly experienced on this 16-year-old Olympic ride from Tokyo, France. Of course, have had a number of successes in the European Championships before now. Twice those individual titles, Nicolas Touzon on 2 occasions, and of course back to the early 90s with Jean-Luc Bigot as well. And their last set of team medals, long list of those from bronzes through to silver, but never quite the gold. Maybe we'll see. But Karim Laghouag for France. First I'd already gone with Stéphane Landrois on 31.8.
Another lovely quality French horse. 16 years, this one. Good workmanlike trot. Not over extravagant or expressive. Another one, I believe, that's in these new type of plastic bits. Karim says he's very happy in. Just raising his hands up a little bit in that rein back to just stop the head ducking down too low and spoiling the outline of the rein back.
Good rein back, gets 8 and 7s.
I think this horse is very, very sensitive in the mouth. And he keeps his hands still and low and does a lot of directing with his own brain. Thought process is extraordinary, how it can affect the horse and his body and his legs. The less he does with his hands, I suspect, the better.
So we're heading towards the 20s at the moment. 7.5. And 6.5 and 7 for medium walk.
It's a good extended. He's really stretching that front bit of him out. head and neck right out. Now let's see how he comes back. So once you've given a good extended walk, you then sometimes compromise the collecting up to the smaller walk and the strike off. Look good.
Yeah, we'll see how the marks come out, but did look good. Extended walk takes them through from 6.5 to 7.5.
I feel Karim is doing an exceptionally good job on this horse, because I feel that he could just, or she, sorry, could just take a little bit of offence to being told what to do. And he has to be very tactful and very quiet and just keep the outline as best he can.
It's a request.
It's a request, not a dictation. How's the change? It looked pretty good. It came as sort of a little bit earlier than maybe he asked, but pretty clean.
I'll change back a little on that at 5.5.
And without showing too much, because I don't think there's that much in there, it was a very passable extended trot.
Extended trot of 7.3, 7.5, and Karim Laghouag seems happy enough with that. There's plenty of home support. It feels like a good day at the office.
And she's not reacting to the crowd at all now. Everybody's let go of their tensions, the rider, the horse, and everybody's happy, particularly Karim, which is so nice.
We're through, we've done our piece, we've done it pretty well. And the French could be sitting in a good position this week, we will see. Little way to go yet.
That's a great way to bow. Take the brim off your hat. I love that. That's a modern one.
Tipping the hat, literally. There, 30.5. Percentage score is 69.52. Judge at E, 69.76. C, 66.9. And M, 71.90. So over 70 from the judge at M. Into fourth place there for Karim and Triton Fontaine. And so he goes into fourth. 30.5. France there also with Stéphane Landois on 31.8. Solid start for the French as well. And looks very much like happy mission completed. Green Ferrand Laghouag of France. There we go. It's added into the score. Say, long way to go yet. Nicolas Touzon, twice champion. Yep. But all came out well. Twice champion Nicolas Touzon to come for the French team tomorrow. And let's have another little close-up. Here we go into the Halton Rainback and stop.
Yes, exactly. Red light. Lovely immobility. Beautiful 5 strides and a lovely move off to trot. And there was just a moment there where I thought the other leg was going to start to lead, but she just quickly switched and gave him the lead, the right leg that he wanted. And nothing wrong with that. Wouldn't get huge expression in it, but nothing wrong with it. Very well ridden test. Getting the best out of this character. Well earned 30.5.
British team out in strong support, and that's because Yasmin Ingham is coming up now with Loire, the British world champion from Pratoni. And what a fantastic week that was for her. And now for the Sue Davis Fund, Rosé de Loire, actually the French-bred chestnuts. And second for the defending champions for the 26-year-old. Actually her first European Championship, came into her first big championship last year, walked away with the World Championship individual title. Actually won in Aachen a few weeks ago, first to do that as well for the British squad. World Championship, of course, finished on 23.2 and is generally consistently in the 20s, so it will be what expectations they have out of today's test as well.
I think that was a wonderful thing about watching these two at the World Championships of Pretonia a year ago, was that it was a sensational ride in all three phases, but you actually felt that there was even better to come.
Yeah.
And the horse, Wonderful Banzai, is only 12 years old, and given a fair wind and some luck, he's got another 6 years in the sport. Elegant French-bred horse.
British starting off with Kitty King with the leading score at the moment at 27.2.
A horse cleverly sourced by Rachel Wakefield in this country, France. Intermediate level when he was found by her. And it's been nothing but a joy to watch these two together. Yasmin was spotted by Sue Davis as a junior, and the connection started then. And I think she and her daughter have been, Jeanette Chin, have been very well rewarded by the attitude, the temperament and the sheer skill that Yasmin is developing all the time. Now, if I've set her up for a mistake, I apologise, but it's impressive to watch. Interesting how much less her leg had to go back to ask for rein back compared to several of the others. He'd be that sensitive, this horse, that attentive.
Gets a 9 on the rein back.
Judge that's on the side, which is the Austrian Kathleen Eichinger-Kaili. Gave her a 9. That's pretty smart. I don't think we've seen a 9 yet. And a really lovely transition right on the button. And then we'll see how he develops. He's got a lovely walk, this horse. How he develops from normal walk to extended. It's looking terrific. Really stretching across the ground. Medium 6.5, 7.5 extended, I would imagine will get better. Lovely U under his neck, not a V. And a superb strike off, just pops gently into it. 6.5, 7.57 extended walk, didn't get much more than the medium. A lovely bouncing change. Just looks so easy for this horse. Make no mistake how much Yasmin will be doing up there. Controlling, containing, encouraging every stride. There's no time to slouch riding dressage. Lovely up in front, beautiful transition down to normal canter. Very fluid, flowing change. I would like to think that'll get one of the better marks of the day.
8 through to 6.5.
Not so good. That's E again, but at least he's kept, or she has kept constantly a little bit lower. That was a very well executed extended trot at the beginning. She had to work quite hard to find the balance that he needed, and they found it and they produced it.
Still looking a very good test, 8 there in the extended trot, 8.5 coming in there, the British flags flying for the defending champions. Richard, very good performance manager in the shorts. And the world champion, little wave to the crowd.
Des très belles notes qui se sont affichées tout au long de sa reprise à Yasmin Ingham et Banzai du Loir.
Banzai du Loir, final scores to come, but looks like it could be a new leading score. Kitty King was on 27.2.
He's a long boy.
Yes.
It's taken quite a long time to get him strong enough to carry himself in the way he now does. It's really, he's not an ideal shape, but he's just found the way, and Jasmine has found the way to train him along with those that help her. Whoa,
Another good score coming in. There we go, 23.5. New leading individual score as well. Great Britain with the top 2 spots at the moment. Remember, they took all 3 medals in the last running in Eventing. Maybe a little harder to do that here. It is at E 75.24, at C 77.38, and at M 76.9 for 76.51, so 23.5. There we go, the 2 British scores, 23.5 and 27.2 for the British squad. Kitty King, Yasmin Ingham, still Laura Collett and Ros Cantor to come over the next 24 hours.
67,38% en C, 76,90 en M, 76,51% de moyenne pour l'instant en popularité à 23,5.
Well, I can tell you the British camp is as aware as everybody else that it's quite a big cross-country course on Saturday, and that dressage may not be just as important as sometimes it has been. And look at that for a gorgeous halt. And then just a very quiet aid and very deliberate, clear steps back. And he's so light. You noticed it at the horse inspection yesterday when he trots up for the vets to check he's all right. He just trotted, he's a big horse, but he just trots lighter than just about anything else. And all things being equal, that should help to keep this horse's longevity. Just springs across into that flying change. They look so happy as a partnership. He loves his work. She loves him. Match made in heaven.
Well, translates into a score of 23.5, and rest of the team there. Yes, job done for now. Exactly. 2 more to come. And we'll roll on to Austria and to Daniel Dunst and Chevalier 97 for the Westphalian by Kuurten. Daniel, who's qualified for 2 previous European Championships, yet to complete, but it was 07 and 2015. Went well in Poland earlier on this year for a good run in the setup 4-star long in Sopot back in May.
And has been riding this horse since 2021.
Combination have been together since 2021 and part of the team for the Austrians. Just 3 on the Austrian squad.
It's a lovely quality horse that Daniel's found himself.
Yeah.
I was over helping the Austrian team to my great pleasure for some 7 years, and Daniel never quite had a horse worthy of him, and I feel this could be the one. Show jumped with fellow Austrian up until 2 years ago, and then has learnt he's very brave apparently, but he's also very careful. Has learnt his cross-country pretty quickly, but I think it's often the way. If horses show jump well and confidently to quite a high level, you can take them much faster through the grades. They learn much quicker, they're much stronger, they've already learnt how to jump really well and be clever. And this is what Daniel's done with this. And I hope it stands him in good stead. Three-man team means nobody can have a moment of forgetting the course and getting eliminated.
Yeah, everything counts.
Everything counts, which is how the Olympic Games were in Tokyo and how I believe they will be again in Paris. Three-man team, everything counts. If somebody falls by the wayside or loses away and gets eliminated, they get 1,000 penalties, and that puts their team right out, but the team can still come forward and compete the show jumping, because the third member was given a massive penalty for getting eliminated. Now, if that doesn't confuse you, nothing will.
Daniel Dunst and combination for Austria. As you see, the three riders' hats there, signifying 3 on the team on this 13-year-old Westphalian.
Oops. It was a shame. I wonder what he saw there. They don't usually do that unless something takes their attention and they see something. Back on the button now. A little bit of teeth grinding, which I'm afraid the jury will be able to hear, and that's considered to be a little bit of an evasion. But when you consider this horse hasn't really been in a dressage arena until he was 11 years old. Don't have to be in dressage arenas when you international show jump. Daniel's done a wonderful job putting this teenager's pieces in order. He's got a nice rhythm to his trot. And he's taught him to bend in the middle so that he can get a decent half pass. And it's not easy when a horse hasn't done this sort of thing all his life. But maybe his show jumping rider did quite a bit of dressage with him too, but it just wouldn't have been in an arena like this in a competition atmosphere. So the medium walk is okay. Don't think he'll get those front legs to stretch much more. I think that's just the way he's built. Daniel's fingers creeping up the reins, trying to shorten them without his horse noticing. A lovely stamp of horse. Westphalian. A little bit of teeth grinding there, you can hear, but it's only sporadic, it's not the whole time. Very nice, easy opening in the canter. And that's something that he would have practiced a lot in his show jumping, the flying change, but nonetheless he wouldn't have necessarily had to do perfect ones, and that was pretty good. Interesting thing his hind leg did there as he was turning right, almost like he thought he should turn left. Very nice, lovely front end, very nice, even, extended trot. Beautifully ridden, Daniel. And a lovely choice of horse.
Complete set test there for the first for Austria. And Chevalier 97. Should then be around the mid-30s in terms of score. Overall thoughts on that, Lucinda?
I thought he encouraged in such a kind, gentle manner as much out of that horse as I think probably he can give, given that he hasn't probably had super dressage training since he was 4 or 5. And I just love the type of horse, and I really hope they have a great time on the cross country. It leads them to greater things in the next couple of years. Austria, of course, is desperately trying to qualify for the Olympics, and they do only have 3 really at this level at the moment, and they can't really go the other route, which is the Nations Cup, because they simply haven't got enough people in the country of the level of Nations Cup, which is 4-star short.
Yes. And so it is judge at E 64.52, judge at C 62.86, judge at M 61.19, percentage score of 62.86 and a total score of 37.1. 20th position for Daniel Dunst of Austria and Chevalier 97. Again, wider gap for those at the top, but again, cross country might well shake that up quite a little bit from what we've seen so far. So just getting into a solid position.
The best score for the nations, Germany in second on 28.3 and the Netherlands in third on 29.
To look at those spectators over there, but Daniel's keeping him fairly well where he needs him to be, and he's certainly executed a nice change and a very nice half pass. Yeah, he should be really, really chuffed that he's got such a good tune out of this ex-show jumper. Watch his hind leg here, the one nearest us, as he comes round. See, does something really funny as he comes around that turn.
Still weather set fair today, and hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed. And so we will be with a good few days of competition ahead of us. And so we will see our next now for Denmark is going to be an individual combination. And so it is going to be for Denmark, and it's Hanne Wind Ramsgaard, Amico Torino. And as I say, the only competitor here for Denmark is 11-year-old gelding by Toulouse. And actually was top 20 at the European Championships back in 2017, and different ride on that occasion. Also completed back in 2015 as well. And unfortunately the World Championships had to withdraw after cross-country. Finished at Le Moulin in 23rd position, and just outside the top 10 in Sopot in the 4-star short format earlier this year as well for the combination for Denmark. Also juggles her time with family and full-time job. She trains as a carpenter and works in a kindergarten. Thanks for that for
it's great,
Pippa Carl and the team at H&H. And well, good luck to them here as the individual combination for Denmark here, just the sole representative for their nation. Reminder of the top 3 scores so far today, all been team riders. Banzai Loire and Yasmin Ingham on 23.4, Vendredi Biats and Katie King on 27.2, and Christoph Wahler of Germany on 28.3.
Very lovely short coupled horse this, bred in his home country Denmark. Quality. Just see whether he's got that little bit of extra spring in each stride or not. brave trot. Shoulder in. Nicely executed, just a little bit of, possibly a little bit of stiffness shown at times there.
And 6.5 for the shoulder in. Coming to the halt.
Only 11 years old, so plenty of time ahead. Seems like a lovely rein back. Certainly has the lovely U shape where his neck joins his throat rather than a V.
He's rein back at 7s, 6.5.
She's doing a great job here. I think there's potential in here too. I have a feeling, I'm trying to remember her from watching in Pretonia in the Worlds. I think this is improved. It's always nice to feel that slowly, bit by bit, things are getting better. Very good extended walk, very good reach behind. If he was kept as a stallion for a bit, because he's got a rather impressive crest on him, but behind the saddle he looks more like a thoroughbred. Little bit ran into that change, but got it. Extended canter. It's just he hasn't quite got the feeling of sitting back and doing his changes. He slightly pulls her out the saddle and then pops over to the other leg. Work in progress.
Yeah, gives him a flying change score of 3 and 4, unfortunately.
And now the extended trot. Again, quite nice behind, a little bit restricted in front, but there's only so much a horse can do. It depends how he's built, how he's put together. She's ridden a jolly good test. Super halt.
Yeah. Beaming to finish off. There you can see that. There you can see the sole riders. It's good support. Good support. I think probably a few more supporters over in the stands, and they're completing their test for Denmark. Hanne Wind Ramsgaard. And as you say, developing combination. World Championships, and now getting a spin at the Europeans. Yeah, let's take a look at the score. Total of 37.5, percentage score of 62.54. Judge at E 65, judge at C 60.71, and judge at M 61.9. But she seems to be beaming and happy enough.
Good. I'm delighted. I think that was a lovely achievement.
It's a terrific job, as I say, juggling her mainstay career as well.
A child.
Yes.
A carpenter to the kindergarten. I think it's wonderful.
She can do everything.
Yeah, and this is her recreation, I have no doubt. Yeah. Very impressive recreation.
A little heart across to those sitting in the stands as well. I say a good support team out there, I think, which is lovely to see.
It's a wonderful sport like that. It isn't just full of absolute professionals. There's plenty of people who bring along with them a wonderful amateur story and sometimes a fairy story.
Halton Rainback.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now there's plenty yet to come, I feel, here.
Well, and a homebred combination, Amiku Torino and Hanne Wind Ramsgaard for Denmark. There we go. Final stages of their test. Makes the change. And good luck to have for the rest of the week.
Indeed.
Sole combinations coming up. Individuals for Italy, Sweden, Netherlands and Germany to round out the day one of these FEI Eventing European Championships here in Lara de Liedekerke in France. Good spot to watch from up on the balcony, but nice to see plenty of crowds here watching as well. And we'll go to Italy. Emiliano Portale and Scuderia 1918 Future by Fetcheren out of Grace Keg, and owned by Scuderia 1918 as well for the Swedish bred ride, in fact. And the 15-year-old stallion for the Italians, like I say, competing individually here. Emiliano. And competed for a top 20 finish at the Europeans in 2015. Finished well in Arezzo back into May of this year. Actually had the dressage of 28.1. New ride this year as well from Emiliano.
Swedish warm-blood stallion, age 15, owned by Scuderia 1118.
Britain's Holly Woodhead,
yes,
daughter of great trainer Ian and sister of Amy, another dressage rider. Holly's an event rider and she had this horse winning 3-star short at Houghton. So he's had a very good preparation. Another one comes forward in a double bridle. 2 bits in his mouth at once. Got a lovely expressive trot here. Swedish stallion. "15 years old. Very expressive hind legs, tremendous daddy long legs. Look, they come right up under him. Very interesting to watch this horse jump on Saturday. That's a lovely shoulder in. Certainly not taking any prisoners.
No. Starts with 7 and 6.5.
A little bit squiggled out in the half circle. It was almost too powerful to do such a tight half circle. Back into his rhythm for the half pass. And now is he going to remember to stop? Looks like he's so onward bound he might not, but there we go. Possibly a fraction late, but that's a good halt. Very nice 5 back and back into trot.
Gives them 2 7s and a 6. Rain back up to 7.5.
More lovely expression in that sideways. Emiliano absorbing what I'm sure is a pretty bouncy ride. If they're working well, they usually have that little bit of sweat between their bottom cheeks under their tail. You often find horses that never get that sweat, and you know they're not really using their hind legs as they should. Look at that for a walk. These hind legs, I keep going on about them, but look at them. And the front legs are beautiful. They're matching them fine. I can't wait to see this extended trot. Very lovely stretched out extended walk. That should get a good mark, but now he's got to bring him back up together, try and help the body come back together to a shorter frame and pop into canter. Well done.
Okay. Extended walk getting up to 8 and 7.5.
Excellent. Change. How's that going to be with those long legs? He was a little bit late. Yes. Those fantastic moving back legs were just a little bit late to change there. It's almost more difficult when they've got that sort of expression until they get really strong and understanding. Off he goes. Really, with his length of stride, he's only got about 5 strides of extended before he has to come back and get into that working corrected canter again. It's a lovely sight. 15 years old, he's done a really good job to bring this horse's power into a manageable way of going, because there's a lot of power which can work against you. Now, let's see. That will do. Whether they're going to complain a little bit that he was a little bit, possibly a little bit too leany on the bit, I don't know, but it was a lovely sight. 7.577.
Yeah.
Well done.
There we go. So complete a test for Italy. Emiliano Portale and Scuderia 1918 Future. That's the Italian supporters there. Mascot out there as well. Haras du Pin. Stud in the Pines. Little patch.
Yeah, very pleasing test. Lovely.
Nice test to watch. As you say, really powerful combination. Going to be very interested to see them in the next 2 phases as well. We'll get their scores coming through. Italy had a good start team-wise as well, sitting in 6th and 7th at the moment with Giovanni Ugolotti and Evelina Bertoli, but not to confuse it. This pairing is an individual runner for Italy. Again, nice leisurely leaving of the arena. Scores coming in. And so they will look like this. Judge at E, 68.33. Judge at C, 65.24. Judge at M, 66.67. Percentage score of 66.75. And so that will give them a score of 33.3 into 14th place for Emiliano.
Exactly 10 points behind our leader.
Yes.
Banzai de Loire and Yasmin Ingham for Great Britain.
Lucinda, a little look back here at the power and grace of this combination.
It's a very good 2 words to describe this horse. Jockey's not so bad either.
65.24% at C, 66.67% at M.
You say got a good halt, just went a little bit over where they intended.
And it's up to you, the rider, how long you show that immobility for.
Yeah.
But you do want to show a little bit, not just stop and rush backwards.
What do you take away from that?
I take away that the horse is 15 years old and he had a good start with Hollywood Head, But it's taken him, I would say, quite a long time to really find the strength to control the power.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy with what I see. I think it's lovely.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing them over the weekend, and leaves us 3 combinations left to come as part of today's lineup. Sweden now, I reiterate, they are an individual combination, and it's Lina Forsberg and Kaizen, Swedish bred stallion by Carissini L out of Madame Butterfly for Maria Forsberg. And there's a 23-year-old rider, 24 very soon actually, upcoming in a few days' time. Was part of the team for the 21 Nations Cup champions, and team bronze in young riders at the Europeans for this pair together in 2018. So nice to see this 15-year-old horse coming through from young riders into the senior European Championships. Finished top 10 in Poland in the 4-star long back a little bit earlier on this year as well. So again, making that progression up the ladder. 23-year-old Lina Forsberg of Sweden, and the Swedish bred Kaizen.
A 15-year-old Swedish woman chosen by Lara Forsberg. She's groomed by Lara Liedekerke-Meier. The combination were bronze team medalists in the rider European Championship in Fontainebleau in 2018.
Nice to see this pair developing through the ranks, getting a good opportunity here, and that's where it comes, Lucinda, doesn't it? Those individuals competing here, like this one, perfect example, went well in young riders, making the nice progression. Okay, we can give you a run at a European Championships. You're not part of the team, you're not under that pressure, and then they're thinking about the next few years.
Yes, exactly, and it'll stand her in such good stead, Lina, that the horse at 15 maybe not has so many years left now. But they can go on till 17 and 18, and sometimes they're all the better for a bit of wisdom and experience. Another stallion. 2 in a row. I think they're the only stallions we've got, and they're both following each other. Looks very straight from where we are. Quickly into trot, because I don't think he was going to hang around in halt.
I mean, you're all going to have your areas where you excel and where you feel it, I'm going to use the term, weaker elements, and you're going to use it and play to it, aren't you? That's the whole point.
There's very, very few horses or riders that are very strong in all 3 phases of a 3-day event. And when it comes to the dressage, there's usually an area, as you so rightly indicate, where you or your horse are a little bit weaker. And that's what you try and develop and try and help that weakness to become your strength, but it takes time. Time is gold with horses.
It's a good halt. 7.5s for the half circle and half pass. Yeah, halt 7.5.
Excellent.
Greenbacks consistent 7.
Looks quite a big horse. And I don't know, when you don't stand up to them, you're not quite sure. And Lina's legs come well down. But you see, looks as if there's a lot of horse there. Super walk, golly. I can't believe he's going to be able to produce a whole lot more and extend it, because that looks so lovely and free. Yes, no, he's going great guns. He has produced a little bit more. Very good marks for his half pass. Medium walk 7.5. What's the extended going to be? Because it's a cracker. Golly, very impressive. Such a difficult pace walk.
8.
There you go.
7.5 and 8.
Well done. You've almost got to be born with a good walk. It's a very difficult pace to make, and this lovely grey. Kaisen was a beautiful, lovely half pass again, this time in canter. Doing a lovely job, Lina. Be fun if she could outgun some of the ones that have been selected to ride for Sweden in their team.
But again, you're out of the like I said earlier, you're out of the pressure zone, aren't you?
Absolutely. You've still got plenty, but it's not quite the same as being in the team. Oh, a little bit late, and I think it was true, but it had a little old head shake, and it's not going to collect a beautiful mark.
Drops into 5 and 5.5, a backup for the half pass right at 7s and 7.5.
Down he comes. Very adequate extended trot.
Yeah. Good test. I think she could be happy enough with that. Just that one blip.
Lina Forsberg.
We'll get a final score, but looking around the 30 mark.
Superb walk, his strength.
Combination that came through young riders together now into the senior squad. Lina Forsberg and Kaisen. Chance to give them a good run this week individually. Get some senior team experience as a rider as well. And again, here we see the score, 29.5 goes into 5th place, judge at E 70, judge at C 70.71, same for the judge at M as well, and a percentage score of 70.47 into 5th, 29.5 for Lina Forsberg and Kaisen. And really good run there for her. And again, take it the other way around, an experienced horse there to go in there with as well as a rider, as a younger rider coming through. That's a good confidence builder for the next few generations.
Yeah, it's terrific. But the judges, I love it, that they all agreed that it was a jolly good test, and I'm sure that Lina has been responsible for creating that good test, even if the others have ridden the horse before. He's very clear in his head what she wants. He's not gotten a muddle, and it is difficult for horses to have a change of rider at any time in their career, because everybody rides to a slightly different control panel. They say they want them up in front for the change. He sure had it.
Sweden with a rider to potentially be a part of their team in the future, but a good run individually to go into 5th place for Lina Forsberg. Above them, Annie Heffernan on 29, Christoph Wahler on 28.3, Kitty King on 27.2, and Yasmin Ingham on 23.4.
Lina had this horse in the Young Riders team in 2018. They've been together a good 5 years and probably several years before that. So I think this is her own handiwork, this lovely test.
Nice result for her. Wish her well in the best in the next few stages as well to come. And of course, good to be part of a squad. And Lucinda, that's the thing as well. I mean, she comes as an individual, but she'll be part of that squad, walking with the squad. All of that gives you that great insight in what it is to be on the team.
And it's a very different game, competing on your own or competing as part of a squad. You have to find another bit of you that is prepared to give to the others as well as just think about yourself.
First 2 left to go as part of today's session for the Netherlands. Individually is Elaine Pen and De Wally. The Dutch-bred mare, now also 15 by Cardento. For Elaine, who competed at the World Championships with a different ride. That was back in 2014. Of course, those were staged here at Haras du Pin. It was individual 12th and a team bronze on that occasion. with Vira, 2011 Europeans. And for them this season, well, 4th at Kronenberg in the 4-star long there, and a dressage of 37.7, final score of 53.3. Their dressage has been consistent around 32-33 from what we've seen so far for them, so we'll see how they fare today. But Elaine Pen of the Netherlands also going solo here with Diwali, and that will just remain. One remains to come. Again, an individual combination for Germany.
Lovely flying change on a dead straight line there. You never know as a competitor how much the judges are eyeing you up before you start your test. Quite often they've got their heads down finishing off the collective marks of the horse before you, but because there's so much time, the test is taking 4 minutes and each rider has got 9. I just wonder if the judges don't pop a little eye over to see what sort of horse they've got coming. Another one who's come out with a very open trot. Settling beautifully now into the half pass.
Back 7.5, 2 judges and a 7. Shoulder in staying consistent at the 6s.
Just letting that neck out a little bit for the medium walk, and then no doubt it'll go out a bit more for the extended. 15-year-old mare knows her game. Doing a really good job on the extended walk, stretching that neck and head right out. And it's about as far away from each foot as each foot can go, I feel. Very nice strike off. She only had to give her a tiny little signal to just come together, and then asked for the strike off and got it straight away. Minimum preparation produced maximum result. She knows her horse. If you over prepare, you can get them wired and worried. Under prepare, they don't do the movement. Nice U under his neck. Came back quite well. I think there was a bit of too many legs doing too many things there.
We'll see how it translates. Transitions of 6.5 and 7. Flying change 6.5, 5.5.
Not too bad. Showing a little bit there, good. Very even test, very obedient, accurate. She doesn't have a lot of natural movement, Diwali, but a lovely mare.
Should give her a decent score, and a polite applause from the crowd for Elaine Pen there, and Diwali for the Netherlands. Pretty consistent through for them, and that will convert into a score any second now as well. There it is. It is a penalty score of 34.8 and percentage score of 65.24, goes just inside the top 20 at 19th position. At M, 65.71, at C, 62.38, and at E, 67.62 for Elaine Pen and Diwali from the Netherlands. Throughout, Lucinda, in the majority, just a pretty consistent test.
Wasn't it? And again, she's not got the easiest frame to work with because her neck comes out quite low from her chest rather than high from her withers, the top of her back. So she's physically a little bit up against it. And didn't she do well? And what a super bit of riding from Elaine.
We'll take probably a closer look at that in just a second. And here we go. Coming into the halt.
It's amazing how the way you ride a horse and the way you train it can actually change the shape that it started its life or her life in. I feel she got every mark she could. A little bit of a moment there. Interesting, she's just slightly saying something about that half pass in a couple of places, the mare is. Less talkative in this one.
Always horses and dogs going together for a wander out into the park. Just sit down there for a minute. Then we'll go. Promise. Go for a good stretch. Just one more test to come through the first day of dressage here in Haras du Pin. And so that will close out the day. In terms of the teams, they're completed for the day. But other than knowing some good starts for Great Britain and Germany and Netherlands, pretty solid as well. A lot to come into the game yet before we put some real shape to those team scores. A little later on into the day, relaxed group up watching, and it's going to be Germany last with Jerome Robiné of Germany with Black Ice. Black Ice actually Irish bred, gelding by Vector out of Brook Hall Lady, which actually was by Touchdown, which many will know is a leading sire in Ireland. But again, has moved the Irish breed into the modern era, and so it will be our final combination out. Black Ice, first Europeans for Jerome, actually finished 10th in Le Moulin on a dressage of 30.1, final score of 44.1. Finished well in Poland back into May of this year. Again into dressage less than 30 at 27.7. Coming also into their first senior championship.
active canter, isn't it?
So the combination for Germany heading here. As I say, individual, which also means that it would be in reserve for the team too, and could be a very good combination to perform here this week.
The question is, how tall is Jerome Robiné, or how small is this gorgeous black ice? Which is it?
Which is which?
I suspect it's a little bit of he's got long legs and it's not a very big horse. I think we'll go for the middle line here. This is a jolly nice little athlete by the look of it. Another one I really look forward to seeing on the cross country on Saturday. They can be very quick, these little horses, if they're fit. Certainly from my gauging of their fitness yesterday in the horse inspection, he was gauged quite high in my little table. Lovely movement. Irish. He may be down as an Irish sport horse, but he's got plenty of warm blood in there that's producing this elegance. Touchdown, though, Steve, that's a proper Irish, very good sire of jumpers, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, there's nothing warm blood about Touchdown. It's Vector that I'm thinking is more on the warm blood lines. His immediate sire rather than his dam sire. Super halt. He rides with that very soft, light seat and a hand that's looking to be very soft. Keeps the rein quite short. The wrist quite soft. Yes, I should really look forward to seeing these two on Saturday. It's a very proud presentation, this. I feel that Jerome is just fading into the horse and letting the horse show how talented it is. He is. And that's really what it should look like. You shouldn't really be drawn to the rider. You should be drawn to the whole picture, and the horse should be your principal eye line. Super extended, look at that. That's a really good example of head and neck out, hind legs really stretching up under him, front legs stretching out. It's not possible for every horse to move like this. They're just not conformed in a way that enables them to, but this horse is. Very good natural balance, came so easily back from that open extension to a quiet, collected walk, strike off, flying change, you name it, he's doing it. And Jerome is just guiding him so quietly. Being a little bit smaller, he got in a couple of extra extended canter strides there.
Of 7.5 in the transitions.
I think that change was true and good, but I'm going to wait for the judges to tell me.
Six and fives.
I think it was true and good, and probably they didn't think it was that good. But if it hadn't been true, the hind leg and the front leg changing together, it would have been a lot lower than that. Lovely extended trot, not over ambitious, just really within himself. It's been very much the hallmark of this test, is this horse is really within himself, and his rider is just so calm and so quiet.
Extended trot moving up to 8.5, and a good test for the solo German rider, for Jerome Robiné and the Irish bred Black Ice. Well, it doesn't look like they slipped up too much there. They look as though they've got a good test behind them from that point of view. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me start this. Take some adoration. I'm really not that bothered right now. Chilled on completion of their test. And That looks as though it could be a very good one indeed.
Are you going to guess?
I'm going to not guess because it's in front of me. There we go. It's going to be 24.05%, so 26 in total into second place for Jerome, competing individually for Germany with Black Ice. E 71.9, C at 74.05, Adam 76.19. And Lucinda, good way to complete the day.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, that's just under 3 points behind our leader, and I feel it was really deserved. I know some people will always say, oh, it's the last test of the day, the judges have got kinder. I just think it was, I thought it was genuinely beautifully ridden, and that horse just loved every stride he took.
And a beaming rider as well. Good luck to them for the rest of the week. They've shaken up the top few because we've got an individual then amongst all those team riders. In fact, two this afternoon with Lina Forsberg of Sweden, who went into 5th, now 6th position with Kaizen, and into 2nd there, Jerome Robiné and Black Ice on 26, which breaks up the two British team riders, broken up by the German rider, Yasmin Ingham of Great Britain on 23.4, Kitty King on 27.2, but we'll have the full rundown of that in just a moment as we take a look back at some of the key parts to this test.
I've sort of said it all. I just really like what I see, and it's not one of those tests that I think, oh God, it's perfect, oh goodness, it's perfect. It's just really, really good, and it's alive. It's a horse and a rider completely in unison. It's not regimented. It's just a really lovely thing to watch, and that, after all, is what dressage is supposed to be.
Certainly an enjoyable test and an enjoyable afternoon, as a few shakers into that final group as well to put a little bit more colour into that final lineup. We're going to take a look at what that looks like for the completion of day 1. And Yasmin Ingham and Bonsai du Loire on 23.4, which has seen the score going of 26 into second place. Kitty King, Valtteri Biat, started us off this morning on 27.2, is leading after the morning session. Christoph Wahler of Germany on 28.3. Andy Heffernan and Gideon on 29 now will sit into 5th place. And Lina Forsberg of Sweden, another of the individuals making a mark on the scoreboard there at 29.5. Karim Laghouag of France on 30.5 in 7th. And we saw two good ones for Italy as well, as they sit in 8th and 9th, consistent 30.6 and 30.9. And further down the team ride for Germany with Marlin Hansen-Hotop on 31.5, and France again with that one into 11th place. Further down, two Dutch combinations, one solo, one team, making up 13th and 14th, and there to Sweden, Frederica Andersson in 16th spot on 33.3, and further down to Austria and Daniel Dunst and Chevalier 97 on 37.1. Switzerland with 2 in that group. Final group down there sees Ireland with the final 3 there, 1 individually, 2 for the team. It's Sarah Ennis and Felicity Ward, and we'll complete our day 1 here from Haras du Pin. So a little reminder too of what's coming up over the next few days and how it shapes for the team so far, but it's very early days for the team, so not a lot to take out of this yet. But if they were taking those best scores, that's what it would look like. And Great Britain, Germany, Netherlands, but I say it's a long way yet with tomorrow to complete. Then we'll have the full shape of what it looks like going into cross-country. And we can tell you, having already had a little look at the cross-country course, it is not going to be a giveaway there either, and I'm sure not for jumping as well. So this only phase 1 of what is an exciting few days. That's how it plays out. As you see, tomorrow we're going to be back at 10 o'clock with the second day of dressage. Saturday it is a midday run here, local time, for all cross-country, and then on Sunday we go into the final phase of jumping as well to complete the medals. That is what it's going to look like. Looking forward to that. Here are some of our key performers from day 1 here in Haras du Pin.